Some of you have been here a while now and might know that I'm a pretty lazy man. But how on earth can you have a healthy diet that's also easy and convenient? Well, if you live in the US, it is your lucky day because I've got the perfect solution for you. Factor offers you the chance to get fresh, ready-made meals delivered directly to your doorstep. They're never frozen, they're full of high quality ingredients and packed with nutritional value too. It even offers meals for those following different lifestyles and diets. So what are you waiting for? Go and click that lovely link at the top of the description now. You'll get plenty of money off your first order with Factor and some off the few after too. You'd be a fool to miss out on an opportunity like that. Well, today could be the moment we have our most successful moment in the series so far. A draw away at Maccabi Tel Aviv probably gets us through in the Europa Conference group stages. And then we've got a chance of reaching another domestic cup final. If we're going to win this one, we've got to beat the big two. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 97 of Lifting Spirits with me, Daniel. We are back today as we fall further behind in the league schedule, of course, but for two more games in two other competitions that are going to be big in the context of this season. First, we face Maccabi Tel Aviv in the Europa Conference League. The result should get us through anyway, but if we can win it, we might go through and avoid the last 32, which is a massive achievement for this club. When you look at the clubs that have already made it, the likes of Roma, the likes of AEK who have beaten us already, we're starting to compete with the big boys there. We also face Larne away in the League Cup for the right to face Linfield in the final. So if you want to see if the big games keep on giving us success, then please do put a thumbs up on it. We will start to spread out the season after this because we've got loads of boring league games coming up. But it's going to be a test of the squad because if we go and have a look at the schedule, it's ridiculous really. Because there's been loads of weekends where we've had sort of 6 days off. So look, between Derry and Coleraine, we could have played a game on a Friday and had a 3-day break. However, you've then got the spell over Christmas where we play literally 2 days apart every time. We play the 28th, the 30th and the 1st. We've got another spell later in the month where we play every 3 days for 4 weeks. We've got the SPFL Trophy quarter-final 2 days before a league game and 3 days after one. It really is a little bit of a chaotic schedule, so I'm not best pleased with how it's been organised, and it's almost a bit of a problem if we get to the final in this League Cup, because if we get there, I don't know where the fixture's going to be. We've also got potentially more European football to come that I'm not going to complain about given the finances involved. But this next couple of months, a few of you have mentioned it in the comments, it's going to be a real test of the squad. We've still got Ampardi and Wilson out of contract at the end of this month. We've still got a lot more to try and organise. I'm hopeful though with the extra European money we've made. Don't forget those 4 group stage wins, over £1.5 million. I'm hopeful we can maybe add 2 or 3 in January and really bolster this squad. But today is 2 big away games that follow up 3 successes since you were last with me. You saw the back-to-back defeats in massive games. We've had 3 slightly easier ones but still pretty tricky. And we made pretty hard work of 2 of them in fairness. Against Coleraine away from home, we were aided massively by a red card. It was 1-1 at half time, but then James O'Brien got sent off, and thankfully we were able to win it. Don't be fooled though, they still frustrated us. Duncan McKenzie scored his first goal, I think, for the club. It was an absolute screamer. He scored another one in the SPFL Trust Trophy, but his first league goal for the club. It was a rocket, honestly. Ridiculous strike, and then Maurice Simpson added a third. He then scored 4 in a 7-0 win against Vikinga. We did say it was a home banker in the Europa Conference League. They had the weakest squad. They were almost there with like a San Marinese side. I don't know what's happened to Icelandic football in this save. Lafferty added 2 off the bench. Puarte got 1 as well. I mean, the game was done in 10 minutes, let's be honest. Against Forfar on Monday, we had to gamble. We had to rest everyone. We rotated the squad and it almost cost us. Neil Kane played in goal, thank God as well, because he made 2 or 3 great saves. And then we brought on some big hitters for penalties. We managed to get through it in the end. And to be fair, 3 of the players we brought on did score their penalty kicks. So we're through to the quarterfinals where we play Falkirk. We've got Larne coming up in a Shield final. And if we get through them in the League Cup semi, we'll have Linfield in the final of that. So it's going to be a real test of this squad. Lots of games, lots of big games coming up. And potentially, we're going to create at least 3 more if we win these 2 matches today. So let's go and get into the first of them as we go and face Maccabi Tel Aviv in Israel. The fixtures at the moment are pretty friendly to us. Some of these teams between 6th and 14th play each other, and they're the only ones that can catch us. Our goal difference is brilliant. Maurice Simpson's goal record is fantastic. But if we win it, we're going through with the likes of Spurs and Roma and probably Werder Bremen. We're talking about elite sides. So let's see how we get on. Maccabi have got 7 points themselves. A win probably takes them through to the last 32. So this is not going to be a pushover by any means. The Israeli League is not one of those I've added in, but they've got some good players. And during this save, they've had at least 5 or 6 who have moved on to big European clubs. So we know that their academy system is working. We know they're going to have good youngsters. It's just what they've got alongside it. We're going to make big changes because, of course, in the cup game on Monday, we basically rotated the outfield team in full. We're going to go and get into it. We'll probably follow the advice of Sammy Klingen and drop to balanced as a mentality. But let's go and pick our team. We'll be back in a minute to run through the 11. Well, here we go then. There's probably no surprises in this team, if I'm being honest. It's just 3 from 4 in centre midfield. The rest of the team picks itself. I do want to point out Maurice Simpson, though, before we start, because there was a bit of a debate during the summer, particularly when we went out in that first qualifier. And I could have had Rui Hartmann back, but I went with Simpson, and it meant that he couldn't play in that tie. I'm going to suggest now that I've made the right decision. Easy with hindsight, I know, but he's 25 goals in now. He's scoring 1 a game in the league. He's obviously by far the top scorer in the Europa Conference. And although he's a slight change in style of player, he's clearly rated very well by the assistant manager and coaches. So I'm really looking forward to seeing if he progresses more, or more so if we start to get big offers for him, because he's just added the all-round package. And the thing we weren't doing last season is scoring from crosses too often. Now we've got someone at the back post winning headers, as well as scoring enough of those one-on-ones. So really pleased with him. The rest of the team you could probably name off by heart. It is Kane in goal, Reed and Williams the fullbacks, with Goss and McKenzie centre-half. We've got Daly and Whitehall the midfield two, Lennon ahead of them, Griffiths on the bench, Parry and Puarte the wingers. Worth a mention for Tamindu Puarte this year, because I did think about replacing him in the summer. I said the right wing was the one weakness we didn't get to fix. Well, he is the second best rated player after Simpson. He's improving massively off the field, and he's starting to look a gem. So maybe that one, we've stumbled on a bit of luck, rather than the Simpson one where it was judgment. He's up front, of course, Maurice Simpson. We know he's got a goal threat, but has he got enough to help us at Tel Aviv? We saw against AEK, they just put us to the sword in a 10-minute spell. This Maccabi side are good, they've got a lot to play for, but they're very young, and of course they're not from a loaded league. So I do still think we've got a chance of getting a result. We're going to drop to balance, we're going to try and stay in this game, but hopefully we can get the point we need. And if we sneak in that top 8, it saves us 2 more fixtures, which is a big blessing based on what we've seen from the fixture list. Let's go and get into the first half via the tunnel interview. The music will be flowing as we head to Israel. Again, a bit like the AEK game, not quite to the same extent, but great to see loads of fans in, great to see a big stadium. 16,000 I think was the predicted attendance, and it does make you feel like you're actually achieving something when you go into this big ground and see loads of fans in. So it is brilliant progress. We have got a great chance in our first season. If we can make it to the last 16, even if we get a big boy and get absolutely battered, we'll probably get a side dropping out of the Europa League. It's going to be one hell of a season for us. The prize money is great. We've not had a draw yet in this group stage, but it does add money into that prize pot. It's going to help us improve things off the pitch as we head into the first half in Israel. Well, a corner kick with 9 minutes gone. I've seen AEK are 1-0 up already. They have been absolutely brilliant, but we've got to be fair. We've had friendly fixtures for the most part this year. AEK in this one, perhaps the 2 that weren't. Luzerne were a decent side as well. With 20 gone, it is 0-0. There's not much in the game. And again, I would snap your hand off for this now. Well, the host might have come back into it in terms of number of shots, but neither have had a shot on target yet with just 2 minutes to half time. It's been a really quiet game, and that suits us down to the ground with where we are. We will keep an eye on the league table at half time as Daly plays Simpson in over the top. He's so good in this competition. But to be fair, that is a stunning save. Tips it onto the woodwork. And at half time, it remains 0-0. We are still in the box seat to get through. And we're looking really good at the minute. Keep playing the way you're playing. We were in this position against AEK though, so I don't want to get too excited. As it stands, we're in 7th place on 13 points. Strumgratz are 0-0, Feyenoord are 1-1. If they both win, They go ahead of us, so we have got to keep an eye on that. We've got Mackenzie 1 yellow from a suspension, but I'm not worrying about that on a day like today. The only thing I'm looking at is about fatigue, but to be fair, we've got, 5 days now between the next game because of the stupid scheduling. We've then got a week off, bizarrely, before playing 3 games in 4 days. Leonard Note is starting to struggle with fatigue, so Morgan Griffiths will come on for him. He is the best sub at the club. I've no problem with that one. We're also going to take off Simpson, who's had a poor game after all me talking him up. Lafferty, though, does like a goal himself. Curtis Belt will be on at left back for Williams. The rest of the team's doing all right. So I'm going to stick with those 3 changes for now. And in fact, I'll chuck on Varmut for Parry on the left wing. 1 change remaining in case of injury. A 0-0 with 15 to go. We're up to 6th place. We're in that top 8. And we are avoiding the last 32 as it stands. I could not be much happier. The final sub will be a very fatigued Daly off. He'll be replaced by... Going to have to be Daniels because Tom Robinson is knackered from Monday still. He'll come on. Doesn't get many out-ins these days. But he's doing all right for us still as he wins the ball here. Can he find that brilliant moment? Goes back to Curtis Bell. Into Whitehall with space to play into. Oh, wouldn't it be great to nick a 1-0 away win? Extra couple of £100, extra half a coefficient point. And Daniels finds Bell the sub. The 2 subs combine. And Curtis Bell the left back. The unlikely hero. He occasionally pops up at the back post as a 6-foot fullback with a header. But to put one in from 15 yards after Daniels produces the pass, I mean, it just makes the subs look genius, doesn't it? But there is a free kick here for Maccabi, and it's not a good wall. We know that's going straight in. And of course it is. Please, the one thing I want for FM24, just sort out the positioning of the wall from a free kick. It does my head in, particularly those outswingers. But either way, it's a 1-1 draw. We're still in 7th place, and we're going to get through in the group stages. We're going to avoid the last 32. It is a stunning achievement for our football club. At the first attempt in the 11th year, we are really making history. Let's go and have a look at how much money we get for a draw. It's something we haven't seen yet. We've had an awful youth intake preview, which is a shame. And when we come back for the next game, I'll also show you the World Cup qualifying group that we've got with our international team. Well, it's a lot tighter than it looked like it was going to be in the end, but we finish in 8th, we avoid the next fixture, final lose out on goal difference, but that is a big indicator of our success. We are ahead of the likes of Feyenoord, Getafe, Genk, massive football clubs, Panathinaikos further down, and we have stopped some big clubs getting through. But either way, a really good season for us so far. 140 grand for a draw, qualify for the round of 16, and we'll be playing a big side. We've got another 90 grand there as well. The money is flying into this football club. 4.7 million in the bank. We're improving some other things behind the scenes. A little bit of work being done to the youth recruitment, the youth facilities, which you can see on the bottom there, and also to the junior coaching. If I show you quickly the youth intake, it is genuinely appalling, the worst one we've had. But let's get ahead to next Tuesday. A massive cup tie against Larne. And of course, I'll show you that group we got with Northern Ireland as we try and make it to another cup final. Well, here we go. It's another cup semi-final. It's another chance to edge closer to a trophy. But I've got to show you it on this screen because it's hilarious. Look at that. 9 competitions we've played in this year. I think 6 of them we're still active in. Is that right? Yes, it is. And we've been runner-up in 1. We've gone out of 2 European ones. We've got a cup final round the corner. This could be a ridiculous season. And this is what happens when you're a successful team in Northern Ireland. We are now 6 league fixtures behind all the teams at the top. Remarkably, we're only 9 points behind Larne. So even if we can't catch Linfield at the top, if we do drop some points, I'm really focusing on getting at least 2nd this year because it gets us Europa League qualifying, which gives us an extra chance at getting through. And it also gives us a big opportunity to stay in the SPFL Trust Trophy as well, which is exactly what we want for the long term. So those are the 2 I'm looking at. The only thing we miss out on if we don't win the league is the Champions League qualifier and the All-Ireland Champions Cup. But maybe buffing one of the other sides in the Champions League qualifying virtually guarantees us 2 group stages because our coefficient is going to fly this year. So we're going to go and head into our game today. A big break after this one so we can play pretty strong in this game. We've not got to play again till the 28th, 7 days off. So let's just go and get this team picked. We'll probably stick with a similar 11. We'll be back in a minute to run through it. Well, I take it back because I have made just 1 change in the end, and it's a surprise one, I guess, but I've brought in the goal-scoring hero from Thursday, the man who got us through, Curtis Bell is going to start at left back. He's done really well whenever he's played, so I've no problem with him starting. And Larne do often play with strikers out wide, so just having that extra bit of height at the back post might well be useful. The rest of the 11 is identical. Of course, the bench is trimmed slightly. 6 players that were there in the last game, and Jaffet and Pardy, who is ineligible in Europe. He's out of contract in 10 days. I wanted to keep him, but he wants massive money. I'm talking like 800 quid a week. And he wants a 3-year deal, which I can't really offer at this point because there's not that many clubs they can move on to. So we're going to stick with the rest as it is. We're going to head into our game against Larne. But very quickly before I do that, let me show you the group that we've got with Northern Ireland, because it's a pretty interesting one. Partly because there's no big boys in it, so it does give us a genuine chance at the World Cup. But it also only really has one easier game on paper, so it might be a bit trickier to get through on that front. I've no idea which way to really look at it, but the teams we will be facing: Armenia, Ireland, Bosnia and Poland. Make of that what you will. We'll show a little bit of that, probably the Ireland games I'll have to show, but we'll incorporate that into the next episode. Let's go and get through to our League Cup semi-final. Can we make it to our second domestic cup final of the year? Well, Larne have got a big squad as well, and they've made a bucket load of changes, but I can't really tell from them whether they're strengthening or weakening their team. It seems to be a bit of a mix and match, but we know they've got a massive threat in Marshall up front. He's the best striker in the league on paper, probably just ahead of Maurice Simpson now. Simon Brooks is a superstar at fullback. Edmonds Green experience, but quality, and lots of decent players in midfield. So we're going to go and get through to the first half. We're going to ask the lads to give the fans their money's worth. Not the biggest reaction so far. We're going to drop to balanced again in this one because Larne and Linfield away from home, we are not able to compete with them on the road. So we just have to sit back and accept things a bit. Add to that Larne have got this massive pitch. It does make it a bit harder to manage the game as Daly switches the ball here to Curtis Bell early. The only man coming in, will it be a decision we regret or will it prove to be an inspired one? Lennon finds Parry. Lots of space in behind. Plays short to Simpson though. He's got a man up in Whitehall. Gets in behind. Into the box he goes. Oh, it's a brilliant start. Not quite sure what the keeper was doing. Whitehall almost sat him down and he couldn't recover. But a lovely bit of assist work from Simpson. Turn provider there. And Whitehall, composed finish. Still breaking from midfield better than anyone else in that role. And we're 1-0 up with 10 gone. Now we've just got to sit back and avoid being hit on the counter. Well, we're back with 25 minutes on the clock as Reed's got the ball at right back to Mackenzie. The two lone players combining well at the back there. And they're starting to build a good partnership now as Mackenzie gets it into Daly. Up to Rory Lennon. Through ball to Simpson. It's a great ball. 2 here and it would wrap it up. But the shot is thunderous and also just wide. And unfortunately, a good chance goes begging. But you look at this game at the moment, we're restricting Larne to not a lot. Although we're playing a little bit deeper, we keep the ball so well that we don't let them in too often. And with them rotating a little bit, with them playing a lot of league fixtures, don't forget, yes, the rest of the season, the impact of the fixture congestion is going to cost us in February, in March, in April. But in December and January, you've seen it with us in previous seasons. The schedule is absolutely chaotic for any club, so there's not really a disadvantage at this stage to playing every 2 or 3 days. If anything, we've probably had longer off than Larne from their last league fixture. Where it's going to hit us is towards the last 2 or 3 months, particularly if we're still in the Irish Cup, if we're in Europe or the SPFL Trust Trophy. But for now, we're probably not at a disadvantage, and our players are playing very well. We'll make changes in a moment as we've got a throw on the right with Reed. Plays a 1-2 with Lennon. It's a good delivery, but just overhit. Brooks heads it away as far as Bell, who's had a good game out there. Parry deflects the cross. Kennedy heads away. Parry will get there again. Bell's running inside of him. Daly finds him. He might have been offside. Let's hope not, because the ball in was brilliant. And he gets the assist for Rory Lennon. It is 2-0 Lisburn Distillery. I think there might have been an offside there, but I'm not going to complain. There goes the little kick dancing. Lovely celebration. 20 minutes to go. Changes to be made. Well, there's the 4 changes I've made. We've got Harley Jones on for an extremely fatigued Duncan McKenzie. And then Neil Daly is off, as well as Puarte and Parry. On come Jaffet and Pardy, Morgan Griffiths and Brian Varma. We've got 1 change remaining, but again, I don't want to rush it in case of injury and that, which we've had a few this season. So I just want to make sure that we've seen this game out. And then we'll look at the last substitution. Whitehall struggling for fitness and Lennon, in fact, both goal scorers. Reed at right back is always one I like to rest because we don't have much quality behind him. And here's Curtis Bell winning back the ball on the left-hand side. Lovely work from him. If we get a third, we will take someone off as Goss finds Lennon. Back to Bell. Goss again wide to Varma, the sub. Who's going to make the impact this time? It was Curtis Bell on Thursday. Which one of the subs wants to be a hero here? Goss can bring the ball forward. Just play short to Jones. Has support. One of it's from Whitehall. Into Griffiths. Great ball for Simpson first time. Deflects off the defender and hits the woodwork. McMullen's a lucky boy. He thought he was beaten there. He gets away with it. And now we will just rest one of those midfielders. Whitehall off. Robinson on. No real affecting quality there. 10 minutes to go. We're 2-0 up. It's been an absolutely stunning display. We've got a goal kick for Larne into the 89th minute. Big kick downfield towards Curtis Bell, who heads away. Griffiths up but can't win his header. We've let McDowell through. It's been a hallmark of our season, hasn't it? Letting in late goals, giving opportunities to opposition teams. And for the second game in a row, we've done it here. Maybe not an issue if we manage to hold on. With 4 minutes of stoppage time and a lot of tired legs, particularly in defence, I'm now being forced to make changes. Defensive fullbacks will drop the wingers to the left and right of a midfield four. And we'll also get on the time wasting because the last thing we need here is extra time and penalties. We've got the lead. We've battered them all game. We're not going to throw it away like this. So let's just see the game out. Make sure we take our time. And with 4 minutes of stoppage time played, it is a thoroughly deserved victory for Distillery. We've got to the final of the League Cup. This was also a big warm-up for the final of the Shield next month against Larne. And we'll be playing Linfield in this one. The big hitters are in the final of everything. Now let's go and see when we're going to be back. Well, as we head into a busy festive period, I think we're going to have to start to miss some big games now because there's so many different competitions, there's so many big moments. But this time, I know what we're coming back for. We cannot ignore it. We could have done Deadline Day in Falkirk, but there's no big league fixtures around there. Let's show the biggest Irish Premiership game, quite possibly a title decider against Linfield on the 21st of January, and 3 days before it, the Shield final against Larne. They're two of the biggest games we're going to get domestically now. They are realistically the only two sides that can compete consistently with us at this level. So they are the two we're going to be back for. Hopefully we'll have a little bit of January transfer work. We're going to have a couple of outs to replace. And in truth, I would like to add a bit of quality if we can. The same goes for the loan positions too. If we find a permanent player that will improve the squad, we'll just go and get it done. I've got no qualms about that. But for now, big games around the corner, European football assured after Christmas, and of course, loads of cup competitions to fight for. Can we win a double, a treble, maybe even go on a big European run? We'll find out all of that as the season goes on. If you enjoyed this one, two pretty good away performances in truth, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know in the comments how many you think we win this year and what positions I should be prioritising in January. And are you looking forward to seeing who we get in Europe? Because this is turning into a dream season. If you want to stay up to date with it and make sure you don't miss a thing in this historic season for Distillery, then do subscribe and turn that notification bell on. We'll be back here in 2 days' time after the head coach returns tomorrow. A season finale to come in that one. And then maybe a very big job hunt this summer. Hopefully you're looking forward to all of that. In the eye above, in the meantime, there's the Twitch channel, the football podcast, and the blog story if you want more. Thank you for checking out the new sponsor, Factor 75 by HelloFresh. That's down in the description below. And I'll see you back here next time for more big games, a chance at a first trophy of the season, and a chance to get ourselves in a title race. This is where the season really hots up. Now it's our job to make things happen.